If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And in the midst of everything, we're going to have a special treat for us. The wonderfully talented Miss Sydney Lauren is going to join us for a bit. And then we'll have the great fortune of being able to connect up via the telephone with Mr. Woody Foster. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. And we recognize there's a lot in play, a lot at stake. But sometimes, what is said, as Dr. Hazel Brown reminds us, panic isn't nothing more than, planning and preparation and the idea that you follow protocols and you put in place, proper practices. Well, 3-4 months thereabouts now, we had the good fortune to share with Miss Sydney Lauren when she next visits that she'll come into her studio and not only grace us with her amazing voice and talent, but what a timely treat with all of the stress, with all of the anxiety, with all that people are feeling, the fear, the panic. Maybe we can take our breath and let's relax in and out. So the soothing sounds of Sydney Lauren. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It is sometimes perhaps a disservice. Inadvertently, people see you. They see, they look beyond, thankfully, the exterior, so they don't see that rugged, handsome shell that I see when I see in the mirror, but at least they see a smile. And they may mistake, well, boy, life is good for him because he's always joyful, but you know what? You give thanks in everything. So I am blessed. And I can see with you, those eyes are beaming. There's that bouncing smile. Life is good, huh?
Thanks for having me.
All right. Music. We'd be joking with you. Some of us would sometimes realize that whether we quickly, quote some of the plays and we talk about, music be the food love play on. Some of us would see how music can make a sound. A movie, for instance, there's the character moving and that sound gives the audience, oh boy, it's going to happen now, whatever that thing is. And each sound can, in the same scenario, can connotate something a little bit differently. Music can soothe. It can equally incite.
Yeah, well, music brings everyone together.
Yeah.
Whether you like, pop or country or rock or something that's cultural. Mm-hmm. Everybody listens to music and it brings people together, which is so nice.
So what I did, right, I don't think that is improper, but if it is, then you tell me no. So we all have friends who have either young children or they have grandchildren. So even, and I'm talking before they start to crawl and move. So you put them and they may turn over, but they don't go too far. And then you put on music and you watch the child move to the music at the earliest of ages. And you're thinking, isn't it amazing that the child at this very young age hears this thing and starts to jig to it, as it were, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah, and then, you get older and you have feelings where maybe you don't know how to say it in words, and then you hear a song and somebody said it exactly how you were thinking it. You just didn't know which words to put together. So there are like stages. Hey,
I don't feel so bad. Go, Tete. No, just kidding. No, last evening we were coming home and there's this elderly gentleman. And I feel good because I realized I've probably done it a couple of times as well. He is in his car and the music isn't up that loud, but sufficiently loud enough that you realize, if you just put your windows down a little bit, he's listening to music. and he's singing along and moving, right? And it was fascinating. Now, what was the word my son used? He's vibing or something. I didn't know. Like, what is he doing? And here is this fellow who is, whatever his day is like, for whatever the reason, that's the music he's listening to, and it brings joy to him.
Yeah,
right?
he's jamming out.
He's jamming out now. See, that's the word I would use. Right? But what is it then about music? Because it is, for some of us, as you shared, it may cause us to want to be able to express something through music, through poetry. Sometimes they're one and the same. It's just, how do you organize the lyrics and, with the talent, put the notes to it as well. For you, what is that process like?
I tend to start with a lyric, something that catches an eye, and usually something develops from there. So maybe it's 4 lines, maybe it's a whole verse or a whole chorus, and then I usually put melody to that. I feel like melody comes the easiest to me, so I kind of let that take, sit in the back seat until I get something that feels different and important, and then I add melody to it. And sometimes it's the other way around, but that's usually my process.
Yeah. So the lyrics sort of first, because the melody will come.
Yeah. And I think it's different for, obviously it's different. Everyone has different processes, but for me, I think something that is really what makes my music me is that someone once told me it's like reading a diary. And so I think that's why the lyrics are so important to me, and why I start with it, because I get very specific.
Yeah, it has to be personal, and I listen to your music, and there is, you guide me. It's not folks, I wouldn't say that. You certainly have your own sound. You sound like you in all your songs, if that makes sense. You know how some, like Billy Joel, for instance, probably one of, he's my favorite. You can tell he's distinctive.
Yeah.
His music is his music. But there are, and Rod Stewart and a couple, but there are some people that you go, wow, is that really the person? They're able to make adjustments to their range or whatever, to whether they're singing pop or country or even a rock. You have to listen closely. Is that same person? There is that range, and maybe musicians call it. And then there's some that they sound great, and it's them. It's very distinctive. Yeah. And then there's some like Neil Diamond. Well, it doesn't matter. He can only stay with things certainly. But is that unfortunately we put labels to music and to people, or how do we get to that point where we see music being this thing that you say unifies but transcends equally?
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we're always going to be putting labels on your genre and whatnot, because we like to put labels on everything. But I think when you are creating something that is 100% you, so maybe there's a songwriter who writes really good pop songs, and they also, for their personal project, maybe it's, more folk. Yeah. I think both will sound great, but you're always going to know which one is 100% them, because it feels so authentic. Yeah.
But for you, I mean, singer, songwriter, performer, you musically talented. There's a gifting within you. I think there are a couple of country, a couple of songwriters that write more for country. And what my friends tell me is I listen to the music. I don't always sadly pay attention to the critics who wrote this song. Yeah. And they're prolific songwriters that they write for everybody. Being a songwriter, do you have to be a musician, a performer, or is it the writing of the song separate and distinct? Or if you're both, then it makes it easier to your mind?
I don't think it. I think if somebody is not a player, if they're not a singer, if they write great songs and they want someone else to take it away and create a whole new world with the world that they've already created with those lyrics, I think, you don't have to be a musician, and it's the same thing if someone can play.
All right. Wow. We're glad that you have graciously offered. We want to accept that invitation to have you share with us as you wish, as much as you wish. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you want to share with us. Is it all original and it covers? What are you going to do for us?
It's all original. It's a lot of new music that's not released.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Susan, you hear that? All original new music to be premiered here. All right. So is the engineer, has he laid out the red carpet? Has he done all the acoustical? No, he's done it. So we'll pause quickly. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll jam out with Sid and Lauren.
Awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll sit there and clap, cheer and enjoy it. And our audience get a chance to hear the premiere of Sydney's latest creations. And then coming up a little bit later, we're going to have the opportunity. Thanks so much for Mr. Woody Foster reaching out to us. Hit him up by phone, chat with you, so that we can give our people a semblance of, relaxation and enjoyment. And then later on, a reminder that we'll send some panic. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Live your best life at Powerhouse Gym in King Sports Center. Top of the line equipment, new indoor CrossFit area, a variety of classes and trainers, and free consultation. Whether you're starting your fitness journey or looking to take it up a notch, invest in you today at Powerhouse Gym. No excuses, just results. For more information on their variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us, and equally a very, very special public thanks to singer-songwriter Sydney Lauren for joining us, and for equally being so willing to premiere, if I can put it that way, some of her latest, and I know it's going to continue to be great things that we hear from you globally. I can see it now. Someone's going to go back and go, yeah, she was in Radio Cayman like 1,000 times, she was joining. All right, so tell us about your first piece that you want to share with us.
So the song is called 25 Days. It is about being in a relationship that maybe you don't get as much time together, and then it ends and you're kind of like, I wish I had more to say, I wish I had more to write about, because I didn't actually get to spend that much time with you. And yeah.
25 days. Okay. Well, ready, Miss Susan? She has the cameras trained audio. Take it away.
I wanted you to be the guy in my happy songs. My pen's gripped a little tighter, spelling your name. We never got a Tuesday movie night, an 11th hour sweet surprise. You were always traveling by plane. Oh, I thought you'd give me more lines to write, but you never gave me enough time. Only 25 days in the same place, but we spent 6 months flying between the states, trying to catch the same wave, only on the same page for 25 days had it made. But a few months in gave it too much space. We couldn't catch the same wave, only on the same page for 25 days. Now I can't help but see your face in the disco ball at the bar on 4th you never saw. But I always wanted to take you. If days could multiply, I'd walk the streets of cobblestones and houses of brownstones that feel like palaces, a home to dream of heaven. Oh, I thought you'd give me more lines to write, but you never gave me enough time. Only 25 days in the same place, but we spent 6 months flying between the states, trying to catch the same wave, only on the same page for 25 days. Had it made, but a few months in gave it too much space. We couldn't catch the same wave, only on the same page for 25 days. Ooh, 25 days. Ooh, 25 days. You closed the door, but I didn't get closure. You broke my heart before I knew it was over. Only 25 days in the same place, but we spent 6 months flying between the states, trying to catch the same wave, only on the same page for 25 days. Had it made, but a few months in gave it too much space. We couldn't catch the same wave, only on the same page for 25 days. Ooh, 25 days. Ooh, 25 days.
Look at that, the applause within the studio.
Thank you.
It's amazing. As I listen to that song, and for me, words are powerful, they're important. You know, life and death is in the tongue, something that I've always subscribed to. But if this was a sort of a critique, we're in this particular class, whatever you want to call it, and we were to take this song apart, New York, the 4th, Brownstones,
Yep.
moving apart, love story. There's a lot of imagery, but there's a lot of sentiment and emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe I read too much into some things, but very powerful.
Thank you.
But very telling.
Thank you. Yeah.
Another story, another time, like, is it also real?
That's what everybody wants to know.
But those of us will draw our own conclusions. But that's the beauty of what I think the arts, and music in particular, poetry, similarly, but because I see this, well, maybe I shouldn't draw that inference, but I can see it. Poetry and music, you could take the poets' words and put some songs to it, and next thing you have a sonnet.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. 25 days? 6.
Something like that.
Sometimes those are the lost opportunities that, you know, you never knew what were unless you were willing to take that risk. But isn't what life is about. You explore, you're willing to take a leap of faith, to step out and to see where it takes you, right?
Yeah, or maybe it's to step out and cut it off and move on to something else.
Hey, there you go. And it could be that thing that, you know, well, unrequited love at times, or 2 ships in a night. It's so much in there that you just don't know. But it's good to be able to put it down there, and there are many who can relate to it equally.
Yeah, and you know, maybe someone has a similar story, but they want to latch on to the exact story that maybe I'm telling.
Yeah. And you can be that extension for that person's voice. As you shared earlier, the ability for someone is easier, perhaps, not necessarily ability. It's easy for us to convey what is it that we're trying, whether it's in words, whether it's in some sort of a visual representation with paint. Maybe it's just in a beat, you know, because some beats they're just melancholy in that beat. And it's like so sad. And then there's some that you can hear the joyfulness. Yeah. You know, but for you, it takes you up and down. I'm sure there's a word for it in music, but you were at first, as I listened to it, a little bit of, oh man, kind of missed there, and then but if only I could do that. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. And with a whole band, it totally transforms.
Oh, that was going to be my other question. When you add other accompanying musicians, then that becomes even bigger, much more, not just impressive, but telling.
Yeah. and it, you know, it picks up speed and all the arrangement of it. It brings the song to life.
So did you do all that? All the composition, the arrangement, everything?
Yep. I went down to Nashville and recorded a few songs, and hopefully this will be out soon. This was just the acoustic version, but I worked with my friend Jake, who really brought the song to life with, you know, different instruments and a great arrangement.
And I think that's the thing I hear from all of my friends who are either musicians or in art. One person can do something great, but others, and usually it's an acquaintance or a friend, everybody brings a particular skill set, and then when added together, it's just a nice stew. It really comes down to a good simmer, and then you just share it and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the fun part about collaborating.
Yeah, wow. Well, Sydney and Lauren, I so for me, it's so wonderful to have been able to meet you, to know your story. That Cayman is like, well, I wouldn't say second home. I'll leave it to you to say about the second. But this has been your connected ground for forever and a day.
Yeah, I've been coming since I was born, so I guess you could call it a second home.
Yeah. And there's something about it. I know from friends and family who have similarly adopted a place. You know, they went with their parents, now they're taking their children, and it's the same place every year, the same time for someone. Maybe it's a second home that they literally maintain. And there's something about that tradition. But when you find a space in a place like that grounds you, that you feel safe and secure, that you feel welcome, and I hope the Cayman continues to be that, not just for you, but for all of us. Then you feel the sadness when things happen. You feel the fear when things, you know, sadly we had an earthquake scare not long ago. We had a hurricane some years ago, and people who hadn't visited for a long time or had just left going, oh my gosh, you know, are you okay? Yeah. Do you feel that?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely a community here, and it feels very safe.
Yeah. If it's not too personal, can I just ask two things? One, has any of your songwriting transpired while you're here just unwinding, or did you just hear, you know what, because we all need a space where it's quiet, we can think, hear our thoughts. Has Cayman assisted in inspiring you, and while you're sitting on the beach, hopefully?
Yeah, definitely. And last year, I came down with a friend who is, you know, a really talented writer and performer, and we came together and wrote Lady with a Body, which you had played last time I was here. And since then, we've been writing a bunch. She helped me write the one I just played, and, you know, we were already good friends, but it really helped solidify a collaborator.
There's a bond I think you share, and I would imagine, I'll invite you to guide me in case I'm off base. I would imagine that collaborating on a project artistically, whether it's music or whether you're building a boat, or whether you perhaps wrenching your newest creation in the garage somewhere, to me it would be similar to two people, you know, let's say too many hands spoil the broth, but in the kitchen working on a recipe. You got this thing, maybe you deconstructed, maybe it's a new creation and you want it to come out. That bond becomes closer despite whatever quarrels or differences of opinion or emotions, because creative people sometimes can be not just pain. She laughs. You think?
Oh, maybe just a little bit.
All right. You want to share some more music with us?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. We're honored to have the excellent company of Sydney Lauren. Could you say, quasi West Bayer? Pretty much a quasi West Bayer in the making. She's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Take it and run.
Well, I love the shirt you're wearing. Maybe.
Well, the best part about this shirt is I found it back in the U.S. So someone had bought this.
Susan, you can see that the shirt Club
Inferno from Hell. Someone had bought these and cut them. Yeah. And I was like, I need to buy that.
You know, and you recognize it, right?
Yeah. Of course.
I tell you, man, and this is where I think, Cayman needs to continue to value all on Sunday, all to come here. So, Sydney Lauren, tell us about this other piece, please.
Next I'm going to play Lady with a Body, which you did play the recording of, and I, wrote it with my friend last year when I was here. this is just, we live in an Instagram-heavy world, and I think we're always trying to be a different version of ourselves that we want to fit into that's maybe not 100% authentic. And this is just, I want you to love me, for what's on the inside, and not just because I'm a lady with a body.
We'll talk about it after. I love this piece, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm an old-fashioned lover. Slow is never your speed. I got time, all the time in the world, to fall apart for a love I deserve. You say you're a hopeless romantic. For a time I really believed that our version of love was the same, but you were just playing a role from TV. If you wanted me, maybe you would never leave. I don't wanna be just a lady with a body. You can't have me as you please. I don't wanna be just another easy lover. I want someone who loves me for me, not just a lady with a body. No, you're not much of a talker. It's like I'm not there, I never hear back. Till you're vacant and needing my touch. You wishing the sheets are where you and I crash. If you wanted me, baby, you would never leave. I don't wanna be just a lady with a body. You can't have me as you please. I don't wanna be just another easy lover. I want someone who loves me for me. Flowers and whiskey out on my doorstep, the shine of the moonlight, the look in your eyes. I'm a simple girl, I like simple things. I don't wanna be just a lady with a body. I don't wanna be just another easy lover. I don't wanna be just a lady with a body. You can't have me as you please. I don't wanna be just another easy lover. I want someone who loves me for me. I don't wanna be just a lady with a body. You can't have me as you please. I don't wanna be just another easy lover. I want someone who loves me for me, not just a lady with a body.
Wow. Sorry. Sydney Lauren in the studio live. And for those who are listening, yes, we are aware of all the things. You'll get a chance to get to that. But we thought, you know what, we had this discussion scheduled for 3+ months now.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for not only committing then and honoring it now, but for, I think it's timely. I think things happen for a reason this season, and I think it's very timely because there's a lot of stress, not just in the Cayman community, but globally.
Mm-hmm.
You go into a space, maybe it's the pharmacy, maybe it's the supermarket, and people, they feel a bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
they perhaps are not their usual calm selves, or they're even more agitated than they are normally. And for some, that's probably not even seem possible. So for you coming into the studio and sharing with us, and maybe we can talk about the music, helps me now. As I listened to that piece, I was thinking a bit of Carla Simon, maybe later Antebellum, a little piece. It is distinctively you, but I'm not a musician, I'm not an aficionado, I'm not a critique, but as I listen to it, and I love music, where would you say if you were to make any sort of, comparisons?
That's always very hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I have so many influences, and I find it hard to compare my music to one sound. I think I take a lot of influence from, James Taylor and Carole King that I listened to a lot growing up and still today. And then I love, J.P. Sachs and some new pop artists, Len and Stella. And there's a hint of country. I love like Rustin Kelly and Maren Morris and songs that are not full-on country, but you definitely have that storytelling aspect. So I'm not sure who I would compare it to, but I know that...
Well, it's distinctively you. And I think that's the wonderful thing. And I'm mindful that I don't say this and it'd be improper, but today, when I say today, I don't mean just today in the last 10 years included, Sometimes the music is synthetic. It's plug in this thing, okay, you got to know what to do, and you press the button and it almost like the 90s stuff, right? But to see true artists with amazing talent and such, if I can be allowed to use it, passion, because that's the one thing that is missing from the world today, passion. People confuse it with other things. If you don't put that into your food, it's not going to go to the table because you didn't put it in when you were preparing it, when you were stirring the pot, when you serve it. So when you sit down, it could just be a simple sandwich. But if you put essence in it, like Chef Emerald says, it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
Your mother had it, your grandmother had it. That's why everything tasted so good.
Definitely.
Right? Passion. Was it Rod Stewart? Passion. Now, with that, I must share with you, the last time you were here, we played the track. Is that the right word? Musicians tell me, we played the tape of the record, but
sure.
And she's an educator, and she reaches out to many of her students, share this song, and she thought, wow. So she shared with me since I apologize, I should have really reached out to her to see what the feedback was. She made them listen to it, and the song resonated with the young girls in particular.
I love that.
And we, like you said, we live in this world where social media, there's this image. I would venture to say as much, or at least our boys are ignored, but they're affected by it too. But we see with the young ladies, the way they dress, the way that we're seeing the perfect mom, everything, but that shot is probably filtered. It probably took, 500 attempts to get that perfect picture with a perfect child smiling in the perfect setting.
Yeah.
Hey, life is real, huh?
Yeah.
It's not like that.
It's about it's not all about pictures and what we put online and who we want to be online and what we see and want to become. It's about, who you love and what you love to do and enjoying life.
Is then, well, for me, is that then why I gravitate to your lyrics? It's real. It's not contrived. There is emotion in it. Okay, passion, but there is something real. You can relate to it. Here's this thing that has happened. Here's this thing that is happening. Here's this thing that is relatable.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope that's my goal. I've experimented with different sounds and different writing styles, and I think what I'm creating now finally feels 100% authentic. And if someone doesn't want to listen to my song because they don't like the sound, that's fine. But if someone is a fan because they hear lyrics or melody or the combination that feels real and authentic and that I'm telling the truth, that's what's important to me.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned James Taylor, and just I think back to some of his songs. Okay, I was at a different age then and perhaps didn't have the same insight. But even then, his songs, okay, they were for a mature audience. They were in a different setting. But if I listen to them now, I think I can understand it more. I guess as you mature, as life comes at you, you start to, oh, that's what that is. But it's timeless.
Yes.
I think that's what your music is.
Yeah.
To find where you are now with sort of finding your voice, finding your own style. If you were to put a timeline on it, did it take you how long to get to this point, to where you feel, this is where I'm at, I'm comfortable with it, and I like it?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a really long time, maybe like since I started playing and learning and writing music. I think for artists that are just starting out and they're doing everything themselves, they're booking their shows, they're writing their songs, they're trying to record their own music. In those times, it's really easy to be influenced to create a certain sound that you think might break through, that is more popular. And I think I did that a bunch of times, which is fine. I mean, I created some good music, but right now it feels truly authentic, and I'm excited about what I'm writing. And
could we ask then about that process? Because unfortunately, I think globally, when we come back from a break, well, maybe in the Western world, but certainly here in Cayman, we see artists and musicians, and we have this qualifying word, the starving artists, without really appreciating the effort, the time, the commitment. And not everybody can do it, and certainly not do it successfully. So talk about that, and also about, well, you're just one little needle amongst all of these things. So easy to get lost. But what about being discovered and being successful? And we can talk about that process. All right. Sydney Lauren, listen, this is sydneylauren.com, SYDNEY.
Yep.
All right, if you want to check out her music and see who we're talking to, if you want to give us a shout, hey, we're welcome. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Get ready for Retrospective, Cayman's National Dance Company's annual show at the Harkwell Theatre, March 27 and 29. Retrospective, a versatile journey of the company's signature dances and new creation. Tickets are $25 for adults and $15 for children, and available at Audiophile, Bang & Olufsen, Radiance Dance Studio, or simply call 926-1826. Retrospective by Cayman National Dance Company is sponsored by CUC, Burger King, ARC, Directors, Big Fish, 95.5 FM, Radio Cayman, and Hurley's Media.
At Canine Resort and Spa, your dog gets the red carpet treatment. That's why people trust us and pets love us. Offering doggy daycare, boarding, training, and grooming services for any breed, size, or style. From head to tail, we'll make your dog smile.
Choose from 4 grooming packages, from the basic bronze package of a hydrobath, shampoo and conditioner, wash and blowout, to the platinum package including spa services like a doggy massage and berry facial. Canine will help your pet look picture perfect. Receive a loyalty card where your 6th grooming package is free. Limited availability.
Visit canineresort.com for details on grooming packages, doggy daycare, and resort services. Canine Resort and Spa, where the posh dogs go.
Cayman Water would like to advise the public of roadwork interruptions on the West Bay Road between the Kamanabig Underpass in front of Burger King down to the Palm Heights Hotel, formerly Cayman Beach Suites, on Friday, March 13th and on Saturday, March 14th between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Island Paving will be repairing the rough road surface. That's roadwork on the West Bay Road between Burger King and Palm Heights Hotel, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. this Friday and Saturday. Drivers are being asked to proceed with caution and to obey all traffic signs. Cayman Water apologizes to the public for any inconvenience caused.
Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. And you can WhatsApp 925-3261. If nothing else, you can do what I do and just sit here and enjoy and truly be in awe of the awesome talent that is Miss Sydney Lauren. I hope you don't understand. I truly respect people who have a disciplined, determined, dedicated, approach to life. And I think too many people see artists of all sorts and don't really appreciate that novel that you were reading. They didn't just sit down and write that in 5 minutes. That's probably 5 years or 10 years of work and rework. The song that you're humming along to and trying to sing. Yeah, they may have got it initially, quick time, but it may not have been, right? So it's, thank you for having that, that willingness to stick with it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Music, though, as you were sharing. And we still have the news break to take, right, Miss Susan? Okay, yeah. So she's saying, come back, we have some more songs. But I was saying, as we got to the news, this notion that in the world of us looking at the artists, sometimes we don't have that respect. We don't appreciate it. What can we do as supporting cast, the public, the parent, the policymaker, to provide the public funds to support the arts? I mean, what can we do to make it not easier, but more manageable?
That's a big question. I think having the arts in the schools is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And not only giving kids that outlet, but, letting them develop a passion and appreciate the art. And, when it comes to personal interests, just supporting the artists, the bands, the dancers, whoever it is, anything you like, just giving support.
Perfect. All right, so we have some more original music from you when we come back from the news break.
Sure. Sounds good.
All right, Sydney Lauren. So if you hit out sydneylauren.com, you'll get to see what we're talking about. Join us after our news break.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access. Information.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Officials say government and the private sector must have a firm grip on business continuity to ensure Cayman's economy isn't too negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands, Danielle Coleman, told attendees at a public meeting Tuesday night at Mary Miller Hall that government doesn't want to turn tourists away, but at the same time, the country must protect its residents. She says right now, it's about striking a balance. Government is hosting another meeting tonight at the Barton Town Civic Center. If you want to avoid the crowd, you can listen live right here on Radio Cayman at 7 p.m. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A top health official in the U.S. says that the testing system for coronavirus is currently failing. Dr. Anthony Fauci from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases said the system is not really geared to what we need right now. Let's admit it. The government has come under fire as the U.S. has conducted far fewer tests than many other affected countries. There are currently more than 1,100 confirmed cases of the virus in the U.S. And shares around the world are in free fall as investors see the spread of coronavirus bringing the world economy to a halt, and fear leaders are not responding effectively. At the start of U.S. trading, shares plunged and triggered an automatic temporary suspension in trading aimed at curbing panicky selling. When trade resumed, shares continue to fall following European markets lower. The initial declines, however, came after the U.S. restricted travel from mainland Europe. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us in the studio, singer-songwriter Miss Sydney Lauren. And as we listen and share with you, and hopefully for at least a pensive moment, get you to relax a little bit and think a little bit less about the stress, the trials and the tribulations that we face. In a bit, we'll have also an opportunity to speak to Mr. Woody Foster. But for now, let us not enjoy the sounds of Sydney Lauren. We do have a caller online as well as we go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Dwayne.
My friend, good afternoon. How are you today?
Okay. And you?
Oh, listen, very, very thankfully. Honestly, I try my best to be grateful for all the mercies.
Okay, and your guess?
Yeah. Miss Sydney Lauren,
Hi.
I think she's superb. Is that a word I could use?
I'm doing great.
Okay. You play the guitar also?
I do.
Yeah, that was an awesome song you played just now.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can't get no better than that.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's a massive compliment from you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a God-given talent.
Thank you.
And a guitar is not a simple instrument to play.
True.
Took me some time to learn.
Yes, my earthly father, when he was alive, I asked him one time about teaching me how to play it. And I was never really had the time in order for him to do so, but he told me it took him some time to learn. It was something he had to practice every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely had to spend some time every day to keep it going and the muscle memory in your fingers.
Yes, I don't know if you have any CDs out.
I do. Yeah, if you go to sydneylauren.com, you can see I've got an EP out.
Okay. And they say most of the money that musicians make are in concerts more than selling their CDs. And I don't know if you have any plans on having any concerts here in Cayman.
I mean, I'd definitely love to. I don't have any this time around, but I will keep it in mind for the next time I come back.
Oh, you don't stay here on the island?
No, I'm not from here.
Oh, you're not from here?
No,
Okay.
man. She just visits and always, man. And KB, I tell you, one of the things that we like about her is that you wouldn't tell, right? Because she's here often and has been here for, as she said, from time she was born. I'll be mindful of this, but this is one of the things that I don't want to call it tourism, because that's not how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
We have welcomed people, and people have opted to come here and felt welcome, and so they return year after year, and then the parents come and then they bring their children, and those children come and bring their children. And as you know from being in the industry itself, that you got generations and generations of visitors who have become like family to us, right? So you've met the same thing, man. Hey, thanks very much for sharing with us. And I think, as the caller was alluding to, that's the beautiful part. And I don't like to get into people's business, as they say in Cayman, and put too much stress in this world where everybody can find things about the people and not always use it for the best things. But as you shared, this is like a second home. You've been here forever and a day from day one, and that's so beautiful. And that's why I made reference to the shirt you were wearing. I keep looking at it going, it's not advertising, it's just indicative of recognition of a place, right? And I'm told, I wouldn't confess to knowing differently, but I'm told that it was one of the hot spots for music back in the day.
Oh, yeah? We always ask if Club Inferno existed.
Yeah. Did
it?
Yeah, man. Right down by Hell.
Yeah. But was there an actual club?
There was an actual club. You know what? I know there's a listener out there. I know there's a couple, and if they have time, if they could just give us a brief history of some of the bands that played there and the events that unfolded there, the stories I've heard, it is, and perhaps it certainly was an icon. It was one of the places where you can, and then Blue Horizon. See, all in West Bay. I'm sure other districts had good things too, but they'll forgive me for being a West Bay. Maybe they won't. But that's what I like about music and what it means to a people, and to be able to go out with your family. Perhaps the couple is out for the evening, the children are with the grandparents, and they're out celebrating because there's a live band, there's a live musician. There's something about that is different, and we've got some very wonderful talent. We have incredible talent in our studio.
Thank you.
So continue as the caller shared. Now, your next song you want to grace us with, as you choose, all original pieces, and this is all available on citylauren.com.
Yes, it is.
Back in the day, I used to have a record and then I got a CD. Now I need to download as well, right? People know how to do that. My son can show me how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. This next song is called Dreamt of an Ex, and it's just about imagining someone you were with in that happy phase, and then you wake up from it and you realize it was just a dream.
What's it called?
Dreamt of an Ex.
I'm not even going to go. I'll leave it be for now. Let's hear it. All right, Sydney Lauren.
The days feel longer when the night is packed with things like dinners on the west side to feel closer to that guy I'm seeing, but he's not as special as I thought. The nights are colder now that I'm not waiting up. It's silent when I shut the lights. I hear the rush outside with strangers just as lost as I ever was. I'm reminded in my sleep that he's a part of all of me. It's a Tuesday night and this dream's not working right, 'cause he's interfered tonight. I dreamt of an ex and that ex was charming. His touch felt real, like he still felt something. The look in his eyes didn't feel like nothing. Could smell him like he left this morning. I dreamt of an ex when he said he loved me. Forgot about when he didn't want me. I dreamt of an ex and woke up crying. Dreams aren't real till they feel like something. The weeks are open to the trouble I can cause by staying out too late and drinking till I'm numb, but I like driving to the places I don't feel at home. I'm reminded in my sleep that he's a part of all of me. It's a Tuesday night and this dream catches not working right, 'cause he's interfered tonight. I dreamt of an ex and that ex was charming. His touch felt real, like he still felt something. The look in his eyes didn't feel like nothing. Could smell him like he left this morning. I dreamt of an ex when he said he loved me. Forgot about when he didn't want me. I dreamt of an ex and woke up crying. Dreams aren't real till they feel like something. This feels like a nightmare, there's no happy ending. I'll go back to sleep and be right where you left me. If this is a nightmare, I don't want the ending. I'm awake and wish that you could lie next to me. I dreamt of an ex when he said he loved me. Forgot about when he didn't want me. I dreamt of an ex and woke up crying. Dreams. I dreamt of an ex and that ex was charming. His touch felt real, like he still felt something. The look in his eyes didn't feel like nothing. Could smell him like he left this morning. I dreamt of an ex when he said he loved me. Forgot about when he didn't want me. I dreamt of an ex and woke up crying. Dreams aren't real till they feel like something.
Wow. Now, do I get the courage to ask about that song? Will I get, what answer will I elicit from that creative mind that is Sydney Lauren as she sits us in the studio? That's what, Unplugged, an acoustic jam?
Yeah.
You describe this, Sydney Lauren live on Radio Cayman's Talk Today. Amazing.
Thank you.
No, that song, what would you want to share with us? I mean, I don't want to critique it just yet, but there is, obviously some of the lyrics are telling, but there's more behind it. Tell us what you want to tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I think, relationships end, and maybe it's a friendship or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Relationships end, and sometimes your subconscious is thinking about those good times and remembering what it felt like when things were good. Mm-hmm. And then you wake up and you're like, oh man, that was all a dream. I wish I could close my eyes and go back to sleep, but it's just a memory.
Yeah. If I sleep, never let me wake, huh? That sort of deal. But that's what I think it allows. Like I was watching, I guess the chords, the bar chords, and most 5 I think I could pick up on. Most of 3 or 4 you're playing. The nimbleness of your fingers. My father taught me how to hold the chords, but my right hand didn't cooperate to make them sound the same. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure that out at some point before, I leave this earthly realm. But like the call is shared, you have that gift.
Thank you.
But it comes back to practice, right? And
practice makes perfect.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow. I practice, but somehow perfection has eluded me just thus far.
I think at a certain point it clicks.
You sure?
I think so.
I give.
See, it's all in the attitude. You got to believe it.
Oh my, no! Seriously, I have committed to picking up the guitar again, to trying to figure this out, right? And I don't even remember. I can hold the chords, go to C, I can do that. Probably should remember it at some point. But this strumming here, it's like 2 different people.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot of work to get both hands to be working together and be doing different things at the same time. But I know you can do it.
See, you're encouraging. I like your confidence, the passion, but
sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, and you got to tell yourself over and over again, I can do it. Then you start to believe it, and then it works.
And that works with that? Because, that works with other things, but there's a space, right? So we all have family, whether a spouse or children or siblings, and they can hear you. That's probably why music rooms were soundproof, so nobody could hear and you couldn't hear them hearing you. Right? But maybe I should do that. I should, go somewhere out in the wilderness. The guitar doesn't need to be, energized. You can just use your own power.
Yeah, it's like magic in the movies when the child, they can see what's happening because they're believing. Maybe it's similar. Maybe you just have to say, I can do it. And then You'll get there.
Okay. Well, I know you are on your vacation, so for maybe another 15 minutes or so, let's have a chat. Is there another song or two that you would want to share with us? All right. Go right ahead, man, because I could sit here all day and now I want to take a break, go pick out my guitar. My father took the strings and he put new strings on it for me.
Oh, there you go. It's nice and oiled up.
We about to take a break, Miss Susan? I'm sorry. I was going to go straight to one. Can we go straight to 1:30? Let's go straight to 1:30. Can we do that? No? Yeah, maybe so. Why not? I'll take the licks for it. Let's see. Miss Sydney Lauren.
So this next song is a happy song, which I know for a lot of singer-songwriters, happy songs don't come that often. This song is called Simple Man, and it's just about, wanting to be with someone that you love and needing nothing more than that.
There it is.
It's 2 a.m. He's lost in a frat house with a beer in his hand. The beer's got no taste and he's dreaming of home. He doesn't need a party not to feel alone. There's a girl over there. She's giving him eyes, but he's unaware. He's just trying to find the door to go home. Someone he needs, yeah, he loves her so. He's 1,000 miles far from this party. He's sweet like butterscotch and gentle to the touch. Her handsome man who's just a simple feeling that keeps her up. 'Cause it ain't just simple love. He's a simple man, just needs his girl in his hands. Nothing fancy, nothing grand. The snow's coming down, a white winter madness in his busy town. She's under the covers with nowhere to be. That's how he likes it, that's all he needs. Oh, he prays at night to his lucky stars as he holds her tight. Wrapped in his arms, she's fast asleep. Hates the morning when he's gotta leave. It's a long day thinking about somebody. He's sweet like butterscotch and gentle to the touch. Her handsome man who's just a simple feeling that keeps her up. 'Cause it ain't just simple love. He's a simple man, just needs his girl in his hands. Nothing fancy, nothing grand. It's a big world, there's a lot in it. A lot of good things, like the feeling that this big world feels smaller when she's with him. He's sweet like butterscotch and gentle to my touch, my handsome man. Sweet like butterscotch and gentle to my touch, my handsome man who's just a simple feeling that keeps me up. 'Cause this ain't just simple love. He's a simple man, just needs his girl in his hands. Nothing fancy, nothing grand.
Sweet like butterscotch, huh? Oh, or smooth as a Macallan 35. Wow. Now, we listen to authors sometimes tell us that their novels sort of come from their life experiences, their friends, their family. Sometimes they weave the characters around things. The songs you've played today, certainly there are some of that. And we are some of our life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
How much of you think, not just, and I wish to speak to you directly, but share if you wish, songwriting, you pick from what transpires. That meal at the restaurant that was so inspiring, that encounter with someone that leaves you either pensive or leaves you just jovial.
Mm-hmm.
How much that finds its way into the music?
I mean, most of my stuff is from real experiences, if not all. I have a few songs that, you know, were inspired by a friend's story or, you know, something that happened to a family member, or maybe a movie. But most of my songs are 100% real stories.
That's why I said earlier, I sense the authenticity, the passion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think can resonate with us. We look at young children, and they're real. If you allow them, you create a space for them, they'll tell you, you know, what is real. They're very honest. And as we become older, we start to filter, and we understand that people don't want the truth. But music in particular, arts in general, gives you a chance to look at, this is the cold hard truth, you know, the songs of, you know, that great singer himself, you know, this is the cold hard truth, you know, you face it, and you're making us feel the truth that is life.
I hope so.
All right. We're we're enjoying the wonderful company of singer-songwriter Miss Sydney Lauren. 1:30 at the 1:30 break, we'll have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Woody Foster via the telephone and, you know, get to more seriousness. But your presence here couldn't be more timely. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thanks for having me.
The world as we see it today, not just here in Cayman, but globally, it's no longer independent nations. They're interdependent. We're so interconnected. Our economies, our lives. Was it 25 Days, the first song you sang? We can relate to that, even to that, not just a long-distance relationship, but that relationship that has already been ongoing for a long time. And because of demands of work, life, and the like, you find yourself crossing, and you're never connected. Even if you're in the same space, you're so busy, you're leaving for work at one time and the others coming in, and you're moving. And whether you're shift workers or whether you're in the same profession, we see parents not connecting physically because they're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine those two young, when I say young, I mean relatively speaking in terms of their time together, just trying to find time for each other?
Yeah.
We have the virtual world, but it's nothing like the physical realm, is it?
No, it's definitely not.
Toes in the sand, the taste of the salt spray on your lips. The smoothness, huh? Like butterscotch?
Like butterscotch.
All right. As we look at our discussion, and you have at any point in time an opportunity that you wish to avail yourself of, this is a standing invitation to join us. Do you have, so that we don't impose yourself too greatly, time for one more
I definitely
song?
do.
Would you share with us?
Sure.
All right. Sydney Lauren, and for me, it's an honor to be able to not just, you know, have her as our guest, but to have, through her, an opportunity to minister, to encourage, to let people feel a sense that life isn't lost, but hopefully to encourage us to pursue that thing which we've all, to this date, felt that we can, and to persevere, because the discipline, determined dedication of Sydney Lauren is so evident. The passion. All right, so this one now, what are we going to, for today, what is this final song you're going to say?
We're going to end with one that's a little bit more playful. Got to tune the guitar, you know.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to watch you. No, we can, Miss Susan, if you want. She's asking us to take a quick break. I hear voices.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay.
No,
she's on
last string.
Yeah. And in fact, and I get paid to talk, you know. And as we were sharing with you, she's saying she's thankful that you're singing and not me. Well, we're gonna have the excellent company of Mr. Woody Foster shortly, but I think he's recognizing that, wow, to have Sydney Lauren in the studio, it's like in heaven almost. You know?
Thank you.
From Club Inferno to paradise.
This next song it's called Fed Up and Filled Up, and it was prompted by, you know, maybe you go through something and you're like, oh man, I just turn on the radio and the only thing that's on the radio are damn love songs, and I don't want to hear it anymore. Which is quite ironic because most of the songs I write are love songs. I'm
glad you said it.
So that's kind of what it's about. It's just a playful song that's like, I wish I could fall in love. I wish I could be with someone, and I'm just surrounded by it everywhere I go.
Yeah, it's like Valentine's all over again, by Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yeah.
The day before. All right. See, now, without knowing the song, I haven't heard this one, right? I could see it already from what you shared. Yeah, some country artist taking it and putting the fiddle to it. And
would love that.
Yeah. Let me see if I'm right about it. Fade up, in full. All right.
I used to want the silence, but not this kind of quiet. Cause now I'm sitting by myself, stressing out beside some random strangers on the public transportation, holding hands with each other, staring in each other's faces like, oh my God, we get it. You found someone I didn't. Please spare a few more inches for the singles dealing with it. All I hear are love songs, love songs. It's like the radio keeps falling in love with someone I want. It's like the radio won't ever shut up with these love songs. I'm fed up and filled up with love songs. So hey, I'm getting older, all my parents do is wonder. They're going undercover, trying to find me a lover. It's like their occupation turned me into a patient. I didn't ask, didn't sign up for matchmaking. Oh my God, admit it. You found someone I didn't. You don't want me to die alone, and honestly, I get it. All I hear are love songs, love songs. It's like the radio keeps falling in love with someone I want. It's like the radio won't ever shut up with these love songs. I'm fed up and filled up with love songs. I see it in the streets, on the TV screen. People acting like it's just a simple kind of thing. I hear the same old song every day, all day long. Can someone tell the radio I'd like to meet someone? All I hear are love songs, love songs. It's like the radio keeps falling in love with someone I want. It's like the radio won't ever shut up with these love songs. I'm fed up and filled up with love songs. I'm fed up and filled up with love songs. I'm fed up and filled up with love songs.
No, that's real. And there are probably some people, not even as Valentine's Day approach, but other times of the year, when life has thrown a curveball, that they're like, oh, that's on again. Love FM, I'm bringing it to you live on the eve of Valentine's Day. It's Luther Francis. But we all feel that way sometimes about something, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I got it.
Yep. It's like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
I don't know what it is. But yet, it is playful.
Yeah.
I like the beat of it. I could ask Miss Susan to put on the spot. Of the songs that played, that was your favorite. I watched you bobbing and weaving. I was thinking for a minute there that you were like, facing Muhammad Ali in the ring. She was like ducking and going.
I love all of them. Actually, all of them are good.
Thank you.
They're amazing, huh?
Yes.
Oh my, seriously.
Totally.
Thank you.
And she's polite and kind, but she's very sincere, and she tells you that it's truthful.
But I particularly love the last one.
Thank
the best.
you.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
yes.
playful.
I can relate
Good
to
job.
Thank you.
Oh, no, you are, as our callers shared, and as we've experienced to date, even in the studio, especially now with the guitar, but even listening to your music, you have a passion, but incredible ability as well.
Thank you.
Now, from here, what's next? Not what you're hoping for equally, but what's next? I mean,
if anyone is from New York listening, I have a show on the 22nd, at Rockwood Music Hall, Stage 3, 7 p.m. Tickets are online. And so if you are vacationing here and you're needing something to do when you go back, you can check that out. And you can visit my website, any updates. I'm hoping to release music soon, all the songs that I've played today. And you can look me up on Instagram, Sydney Lauren F. And, just check in and tell me if you liked any of the songs I played today. Yeah.
Well, I hope they do, man. And I hope that they're not only sort of inspired, but encouraged. And too many of us sometimes, I get it. I really get it. You become at a certain point where you're not just comfortable, but you recognize your responsibilities. It may be that poem that you were trying to write, that novel. It may be that particular professional qualification you're seeking. It may be formalizing the education that you never had. Whatever that thing is, life gets in the way. But you're never told. Your encouragement with the guitar, maybe it's the language, you're never told. And that's what I like with you. You have that dogged determination, man. And that is inspiring. More of us need to have that. You have that, hopefully this is not wrong to say, but that old soul, that spirit that resonates, man. And it's amazing.
Thank you.
Parents have done a great job with all of you.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Hey, thanks, Dad. All right, well, when you have time again, please always, come back. Be safe as you visit. Enjoy it, and make Cayman always be good to you.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, SydneyLauren.com. Check it out, man. It's amazing. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and the rest of the week.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to pause. We're going to take a break. When we come back for the remainder of the hour, there'll be some open line. Very grateful for his patience and for his graciousness for joining us via the telephone, Mr. Woody Foster. And we'll talk about a few things that are important to us. So join us so you hear it directly and factually. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Have you lost your mojo? Find it again at Mojo's in Central Terrace, Bayshore Mall, on the waterfront. Happy hour specials 5 to 10 p.m. every night. Free pool every night. Free parking every night. Food, happy hour, and stunning ocean views. Find your mojo at Mojo in Central Terrace. Central Terrace is home to Mojo, Cayman Creperie, and Lucky Slice Pizza.
CUC advises participants in the Green Iguana Culling Program to exercise extreme caution around the CUC's poles and power lines, especially when extracting iguanas from trees or branches that are in close proximity to poles and power lines. Participants should keep all objects such as poles, sticks, or hooks away from any CUC equipment to avoid any electrical contact. For further information, please contact our customer service team at 949-5200 or via email at service@cuc.ky.
Radio Cayman News.
It's just gotten really big. There's black smoke covering the roads. You can see it from all over Georgetown.
I'm working with RCIPS to assist with evacuation.
School will resume once the fire has abated and the smoke is no longer a hazard.
I would like to commend all of the emergency services who have been involved in battling the landfill fire.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
At Canine Resort and Spa, your dog gets the red carpet treatment. That's why people trust us and pets love us. Offering doggy daycare, boarding, training, and grooming services for any breed, size, or style. From head to tail, we'll make your dog smile.
Choose from 4 grooming packages, from the basic bronze package of a hydrobath, shampoo and conditioner, wash and blowout, to the platinum package including spa services like a doggy massage and berry facial. Canine will help your pet look picture perfect. Receive a loyalty card where your 6th grooming package is free. Limited availability.
Visit canineresort.com for details on grooming packages, doggy daycare, and resort services. Canine Resort and Spa, where the posh dogs go.
It's the 8th annual Dress for Culture Day on Friday, March 13th. Celebrate Cayman's multicultural community by displaying your homeland pride and cultural dress. Your Dress Up, Dress Down donation of just $5 per adult and $3 per student goes towards the National Cultural Foundation's youth programs. Visit the @Cayman Culture Facebook and Instagram pages for more information on how you can win a prize for showing your national pride. Open to all schools, businesses, and individuals. Dress for Culture Day, part of K-Fest 2020, brought to you by CNCF. Email cncf@artscayman.org or call 949-5477 for more information.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for allowing us to not only honor our scheduled commitments. Okay, yes, it was 3 months ago, and you could say, well, you could change it with all that transpired, but we believe it was important for, even for a few minutes, to kind of remember that life goes on, and taking the time to catch your breath, you might be able to appreciate what is before you. So, like the 2 messages that we just received from people saying, you know what, for a second there, I kind of stepped back and realize that life is precious, and yes, there's a lot to be thankful for, and yes, there are a lot of things that are happening, but there's more to life. I'm also very, very, very grateful to Mr. Woody Foster for reaching out for last opportunity to joining us by phone to chat, because yeah, as a father, as a husband, as a businessman, as a very, very involved member of our community through service and other times, he can share the sentiment. Mr. Foster, good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Dwayne, how are you doing today?
Very thankful, man. And thank you, too, really, for allowing us a chance to chat with you and to hear a perspective from you that may remind us of what's important and to allay any particular fears and concerns that we may have.
Right, we'll do our best.
All right, man. Well, thank you. So give us a perspective as you see it and share with us, and allow us to chat with you as much as you are able to share time with us.
Sure. Well, I guess everybody knows we're not just our stores, but our competitive stores, and anybody who's selling groceries of any kind is really busy right now. And I think a lot of it is in fear of us not being able to get groceries or products, whether it's for the U.S. closing their borders or our port not being able to operate or whatever the case may be. To the best of our knowledge, and all of the research that we do and the phone calls that we make to our suppliers and to our shippers and everything else, none of that is the case. We are, in truth, getting hammered, if you will, on a lot of products, especially those involving sanitizers and cleaning products. Those have issues. Toilet paper, for some reason, I'm not entirely sure why, has been an issue. Water is an issue. But on the majority, food is not going to be an issue. We're continuing to get orders. We have lots of product in our warehouse. Our competitors have products. We have orders coming in. Our manufacturers have seen unprecedented sales. Whether it's Procter & Gamble or Bush's Beans or whatever one you care to look at, they are seeing unprecedented sales, and they are ramping up as best they can to deal with the situation, because this isn't a regional problem, it's a world problem.
Right.
So we got a letter from Bush's Beans today saying how we are choosing to deal with this situation is that we are going to not make some of our slower selling items, and we are only going to focus our energy on our faster and most important items so that we can keep up. So look out for out of stock for some of those items, but we are going to do our absolute best to make sure that these items stay in stock. And that's a very proactive and good way of dealing with things. And some of our other suppliers are doing the same. Spoke to the shipping companies earlier this morning, and they see no reason why they wouldn't be able to send their ships to the Cayman Islands. One reason for them not to come wouldn't be necessarily Mr. Trump closing the borders, but because Cayman has issues with coronavirus, and so they wouldn't want to put their ships and their crew at risk. So I know they are speaking to the government now in terms of doing things differently, because right now the CBC goes on to the boats and do their inspections, and there's an exchange of paperwork from human to human. So they're looking into ways to where they can reduce the amount of human-to-human contact so that they can just unload their boats and go back to Miami. Those are all proactive ways of making sure that the boats can continue to come here. And they continue to come here, we'll continue to get food and other products. So everyone is working their hardest to make sure that this country stays safe, has food, has cleaning products. We're doing our absolute best. But it is a challenge because the entire world is looking for the same products: sanitizers, alcohol, toilet paper. We're all in this together.
Right.
But I really just want people to not panic because, we can't guarantee anything, as we saw with the NBA. Yesterday morning, the NBA, National Basketball Association, they were doing all their games. 12 hours later, the entire season's been canceled. That's pretty unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't guarantee anything, but everyone is working. The government right down is working their hardest to make sure that those type of things don't happen.
Right. Well, this is why we're so grateful that you're, not just amenable, not just very responsive, but, in a very responsible public way, helping us to allay these fears. And we, as you shared, we recognize that human behavior is about self-preservation. Now, unfortunately, we are in the shops and we're buying these things because we have unfounded fears, we're speculating, we're sharing unfortunate rumors and the like. Now, from that perspective, what more, because it's us as the consumer, what can you share with us to say, listen, we're going to have the product, but just be sensible. What can we do to make sure that we don't have that level of panic and fear and frustration, and hopefully it doesn't, parlay into something even more insensitive?
Well, I'm not sure that I can give the answer on what to do because, at the end of the day, it's a personal choice on how you conduct yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we as a company, and so have our competitors, put limits on products because we're trying to make sure that as many people as can get it, as opposed to those that have money get more than those that don't,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we put limits on things, but unfortunately what we see is that people try and game the system, right? They come in with 4 or 5 different people, and they go out and they come back in. But if you load up your household with Lysol and other people don't get, well, when you come into contact with those other people and they make you sick, well, what good have you done hoarding it in your house?
Thank you for sharing that, yeah.
You need to spread it around so that everybody can stay safe together.
Yeah. And I think that this is where, as you shared, maybe we'll stop, quickly recognize it is relatively a small population, whether we have 50,000 or 100,000, whether we're 5 square miles or 500 square miles. Relatively speaking, we're a small population. So containment, cooperation, sense of civility should be easier to attain than it would be in a population with 2 billion, for argument's sake.
Sure.
Now, with that, I've been very grateful for the opportunity to just walk through your stores and others informally, unofficially, because we had received so many reports of people, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I'm a consumer. I've gone into the shops. But the level of perhaps fear and anxiety exhibited by some people. Last evening, a couple of customers, were just sharing, and even when you sit, listen, the ports are open, the supermarkets have stuff. The behavior of us as consumers are, well, just in case, what if? And we engage this now, in addition to the limits that may be placed on how much and the behaviors of the consumer to game the system. Are there other things that perhaps we could consider? I think more from us as the individual as opposed to us as the authority that could do what you shared. Think of the greater good. Don't have all the Lysol and nobody else has any, for argument's sake.
Well, following Hurricane Ivan, we saw a pretty amazing thing where we saw our community come together and work together, and rich, poor, black, white, everybody was working together in one harmonious way to get the country back up and running in a amazing way. I mean, I think we all still talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully we don't have to wait for a catastrophe for us to work together like that again. It'd be great if we could work like that now in terms of dealing with this situation, because I don't think, because I see a lot of criticism of businesses, a lot of criticism of the government, a lot of criticism of pretty much everything. Oh, they're not being proactive, and oh, they're not doing this, that, and the other. And while some of that criticism is true, these are pretty unprecedented times. And it takes a lot to keep everything going, right? Because it's easy to say, well, stop this, don't do that. But all of these things have consequences, right? So if you shut down the cruise ships, for instance, and to keep us safe, I agree that makes a lot of sense. But that does have a ramification, right? Taxi drivers won't get paid. The industry of paying people dries up. Well, then what happens? So, I mean, we have to make these really tough decisions. We have to make the country safe, but we also have to balance that with making sure people get a paycheck and can sustain themselves. So we all have to be in this together, and I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. All I'm saying is this is a really difficult time where we all have to work together as one country. And if somebody has made a bad decision, don't throw them under the bus. Let's just deal with the situation and move on. So it's really easy to point out everybody's mistakes. But, you know, when the decision doesn't lie with you, it's really easy to be critical. When you have to make the decisions that affect people in a major way, it's not that easy to make those decisions, because every decision you make helps someone while hurt somebody else. There's no silver bullets in life. So I just would pray that everyone remembers that, and that through this extremely difficult time, we all just slow down a little bit. Remember your brother or your sister, your neighbor, and let's work together. And I know that sounds really sort of airy-fairy, but it's real.
It is real, you know, and I'm looking as you're chatting a couple of emails and WhatsApps and whatever it is that come through. And I would like to share this one as I paraphrase it. Thanks to Mr. Woody Foster as a representative, but can I say it this way? The largest, sort of retail, food and retail outlet. It's refreshing to be reassured that the products and produce will be available to us. Now, as I was rereading what this person writes, I think it, in my mind, resonates that it comes back to us as the individual. Yes, we want to be as best as possible prepared. We want to be able to look out for our families. But some of you said earlier, think of your brother and your sister, and don't take everything for yourself and you have it all and the other person doesn't, because you're not safe or you're not in a better position. You know, sort of isolated yourself and indirectly because you can't go out because everybody else is sick and you're the only one that's safe.
Right.
All right. But with that though, as we're thinking of it, and again, not to add to it, but perhaps to be reminded, you're saying the manufacturers are saying the slower moving product, we'll cut back on that a bit to focus on this one, because obviously that's the more popular one, and it's of the same thing. I'm thinking as an example of cheese. Let's say you only have two cheeses, hard cheese and soft cheese. The soft cheese doesn't sell. Only 4 of us buy it, but the hard cheese, 4,000 of us buy it. The public, the 4 of us that want a soft cheese should be willing to understand at this time, you know what, we won't get a soft cheese. Let's just, all eat the hard cheese or do without. That's what we need to do, right? Make the sacrifice for the short term.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, if you come into the store and you see some empty shelves, that 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be out of some items, but we're not going to starve.
Right.
Food is going to continue to come because I'm not going to guarantee anything, but I'm relatively certain that if for whatever reason and the boats slow down, instead of getting 4 shipments, we only get 2 or 1, or God forbid 1 or none,
mm-hmm.
the government will find a way to charter a plane and we'll bring in product by plane.
Yeah.
I mean, we, as a country, we have this whole population to feed, and we're going to find a way collectively to make that happen.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had an opportunity to speak to a few people who, I guess in the way some of us think, always try to find the good in the bad, you know. And if you look at this, you're seeing a couple of things that could become good practices going forward. For instance, as a cost-saving measure, not just for safety and security, but why do we have to travel to meet in person when the technology exists to have a virtual meeting? There is technology now where, I forgot what the guy say it's called, but you can almost like a hologram, and it isn't costly. You can project that person into the boardroom with the screens that are there as if they're there. This is not a fantasy. This is not science fiction. This is very real.
Well, a lot of that is happening now, Dwayne. I don't know about the hologram, but they're certainly having meetings. I mean, Google has sent or whichever one has sent 100,000 of their folks out to work from home as opposed to the office. I think Ernst & Young is doing it. I believe KPMG is doing it. You have a lot of companies that are doing that and have restricted all travel, and this is absolutely, that's happening, and that's good because it keeps us safe. But as I said, there's going to be a lot of people at the airport who are not going to have a job because those people are not traveling. When the hotels don't have anybody in them, there'll be no housekeepers to clean the rooms. So somebody is going to have to take care of making sure those folks are taken care of. That costs money. So again, everything has a ramification. So as we protect ourselves, it drives up something else.
Right.
And then we all need to come up with ways to take care of that, because we can't leave our brothers and sisters out there to, without somebody to fend for them. So we're going to have to come up with ways of dealing with that. So this is a really dynamic, very difficult situation the world finds itself in, and we have got to work together. So if we have solutions, put it out there, and not in a pointing fingers at somebody else for not being smart enough to come up with themselves, but as being helpful.
And that's the thing, is as you share that's why we're grateful that you were willing to not just come on for this time, but to be available almost, don't want to say at our beck and call, but being so willing to fit into the schedule of the program. But as you shared equally, this is not only the challenges we face. This is an opportunity for us to embrace. Reports out of China indicate that as a result of sort of reduced movement of people, their air quality index has improved. Those could be ways that going forward of, what can we do now to still move people about safely, but perhaps employ a better mass transit system to make sure that less people are sort of singly moving and more people are moving collectively, if at all.
Sure.
So
now you're going into a different talk show now, doing about mass transit.
No. But I mean, there is a potential silver lining in this, in that maybe we, in addition to the meetings that you talked about, maybe education. Now, Mr. Foster, I recognize that your time is very, very like many extremely busy, especially now. Are there other things you want to share with us, or have we imposed ourselves too much on you?
No, not at all. Always happy to help wherever possible. I really just want people to try not to panic if at all possible. We are all working on making sure, well, from our industry anyway, from the food industry, working on making sure that there's product on the shelves. And the only way we can alleviate those fears is making sure that we live up to our promise and keep bringing products in. So we will continue to do that day and night to make sure that we live up to that promise.
Well, thank you very, very much for that. And again, thanks for being so amenable for us, call you as the schedule allowed. Anytime that we can help to lead affairs, to get the word out, please reach out to us, all right?
All right, man. Thanks very much, man.
Very much, man. Mr. Woody Foster, over at Foster's. And thanks, sir, for your time. Now, to our listeners, as we just heard from Mr. Woody Foster, perhaps as he shared, in their stores and their competitors' stores, many of us may see empty shelves. We live in this community. We recognize that as people, we act in a way that is understandably about self-preservation. As I understood Mr. Foster to share, one, let's think of it in the big picture. Why we take all of the thing that makes us safe, but there's none available for the other people. How does that benefit us when we go interact with them? If they're sick, would we get sick? Secondly, okay, the high demand items, will probably be more readily available when the lower demand items, as you said, the manufacturer is going to ramp up production on that so that they can shift it. It makes sense. So if you go into the supermarkets and you don't see, I use the example of the cheese, because like it or not, we have such an amazing selection of food products in this small country that you sometimes don't find in larger, metropolitan areas. We take it for granted. So if you don't see the thing just yet, hey, let's relax. We're not going to starve. We get the stuff. Let's be civil if we can. Let's be considerate of other people. Easier said than done. I understand that, but let's not panic. Let's work together, and let's remember, for that short period of time after Hurricane Ivan, we all worked together, and we recovered very quickly. Perhaps we did ourselves a disservice in not celebrating how, quick a recovery, how I would say, how we work together so easily. All right, we're going to pause, take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion. The phone lines are open. You may have a comment or a question or query. Just share with us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC, just $12 each, and it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
At Canine Resort and Spa, your dog gets the red carpet treatment. That's why people trust us and pets love us. Offering doggy daycare, boarding, training, and grooming services for any breed, size, or style. From head to tail, we'll make your dog smile.
Choose from 4 grooming packages, from the basic bronze package of a hydrobath, shampoo and conditioner, wash and blowout, to the platinum package including spa services like a doggy massage and berry facial. Canine will help your pet look picture perfect. Receive a loyalty card where your 6th grooming package is free. Limited availability.
Visit canineresort.com for details on grooming packages, doggy daycare, and resort services. Canine Resort and Spa, where the posh dogs go.
If your business is over here, but your customers are over here, adding more yellow to your business will bring you both right here. With everyone searching yellows, print, online, and a mobile app, getting your business noticed is easier than ever. Book your consultation today at findyellow.com.
The Spring 2020 Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office. The Labor Force Survey collects data on employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit randomly selected households in all districts. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the statistics law. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
School inspectors are impressed with improvements at the Cayman Islands Further Education Center, giving it a satisfactory rating. The Office of Education reports that most of the quality indicators were judged at least satisfactory, with a number graded as good at SciFec during a recent inspection. The report says in science, students made good progress in their learning. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Schools, colleges and other public facilities in the Republic of Ireland are to close in the wake of the coronavirus outbreak. The Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar said the measures take effect today. And Josie Harris, the mother to 3 of boxing superstar Floyd Mayweather's children, has been found dead in her car in California. The 40-year-old was found unresponsive on her driveway. No information has been released regarding the cause of death. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for sharing with us this afternoon. And if you're out and about, you got a call, a question, a comment, a query, hey, just give us a shout and share with us as we invite you to be a part of the remaining, 27 minutes and 35 seconds, thereabouts. 949-837, 949-8037, or toll free, 1-800-534-8255. If you were listening prior to our break, Mr. Woody Foster shared with us and trying to remind us that they, like their competitors, have stock. They're working with their suppliers and manufacturers. They're maybe some up the shelves, but they're just temporary. The higher demand items will be out of stock, but they'll be replaced. Their manufacturers are saying, hey, the slower moving things, we'll hold back on them for now to ramp up production on the faster moving things. So you may not get that low fat, high fiber, low sodium, whatever thing that you normally get, but the regular one could just be just as good or better. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Afternoon, Dave. Sterling day number 1, you kick, sir.
How are you, sir? How are you?
Oh, I'm right here in Somalia with you.
There you go, man. Thank you for sharing.
I'll leave you tomorrow if I can get up there.
You will, man. You will.
Yeah, well, you guys better look and see if there's no smoke or start another new disease, sir.
Yeah.
The Cayman smoke disease.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call that one.
That what they call it?
That would be the name for it. The Cayman smoke disease. Anyway, I just called you. You know why? I was listening to your show.
Yes, sir.
Even when you had the lady on the play the nice music. And I heard when Mr. Foster came on.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the same things what I told you yesterday, he repeated.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go get yourself excited with no panic and nothing about this thing. It was some of the very words I said yesterday. When I heard that, I said, Lord have mercy.
Wow.
Don't tell me so wrong.
Well, see, the thing is, people talk about self-preservation, right? And people act what we may see as being irrational, but for them, they're in a rational mode. They need, in this case, sanitizers and disinfectant and toilet paper and cleaning supplies and what have you. So they're not thinking about anybody else. They're thinking about themselves. And so they'll go. Now, what conceivably could happen is after all the panic buying and they've stockpiled on these things, nothing happens and they've now out of pocket, don't have the finances to continue with other things. So what happens to these things? B, they could, and some are like this, they could say, well, I'm going to hoard this. So this cost me $1, but if you want it, you're going to need to pay $1,000 for it. Not recognizing that money that they've collected, they made a huge profit. Well, there's nothing they can do with that because what are they going to buy? They're going to take it to their grave. They're going to bury that $1,000 bill in their casket. I'm not trying to be insensitive or disrespectful, right? But I'm of the mindset that this is most likely the outcome in the long run. See, this group of people have now stockpiled on this thing, and they recognizing that they now have all of, let's say, the sanitizing, disinfecting products. They'll share it, especially in this community, because we saw that very evidently in Hurricane Ivan. For a very short period of time, unfortunately, we became what we should, be, and what we once were, a community that shared, that understood that everybody's survival, their success, their civility, their sense of social harmony depended on everybody else. It didn't matter if your business suit that you wore to work, consisted of a t-shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of flip-flops, or it was this tailor-made suit by the finest tailors wherever they come from, and they cost $100,000. Oh, I don't know if suits cost how much, but we're all, at the end of the day, flesh and blood. So how is it that we're going to get to that point? Now there is another potential, and that is anarchy, riot, and you got so I could break down the door to get into you. That is a lose-lose situation for everybody, because end of the day, nobody wins. So how do we avoid that? How do we get to scenario C? It's quite easy. Stop, catch your breath. Anyway, your thoughts, sir?
Well, I say this: when people hear things coming, if it's coming, if it's breaking out here, not just because somebody come up with some sickness or something and they send them away. It don't have to be that. If it's here and it's spreading, you get things, you put it up. Okay? And you stay away, if you can, from stores and so and so. Otherwise, but if you have to work, you have to. And if it comes so bad, certain working places go close down. But I said, just take it easy and wait a while and see what's going to happen. And the boat will come same way. It's going to come.
Yeah, I think that
I hear that heavy breathing here. You want to rough me up now?
No, sir.
Go
I
ahead.
was going to say that it's not just a mindset about being optimistic and positive, because too many people confuse that with burying heads in the sand and pretending there isn't a problem. People talk about being proactive and the like, but they don't quite fully appreciate what that entails. I think, unfortunately, that we're not cognizant of the changing dynamic, not just regionally or globally, but locally. The selfish, self-serving nature of people, and increasingly the people within our own society. Just look, and some people may be offended by this, but I think we need to look in the mirror and stop pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror and say, okay, that image that's being reflected back at me is me. What can I do to make it better? Because if I improve myself and everybody does that, then everything and everyone is improved. I mean, that sounds simple, but it is succinct, right? And so if we look at our roads, the growing lack of courtesy and respect on our roads, if we look in this today's Thursday, so unofficially, informally, and without anybody asking or requesting, I've observed the behavior of us in different sort of public spaces, from the pharmacies to the retail outlets and the like. We've become aggressive, we've become offensive, we've become belligerent in some cases. And this isn't just the old lady who is desperately in need of something. This is the young, strapping, muscular, seemingly fit, energized, energetic young man. This is the professional lady in a business attire. This is all of us. And I'm thinking that, expletive, that aggression, really, is that achieving anything other than frustrating everybody else, including the person from whom you need this thing? Whether it's the meal is being served, the medication is being dispensed, the change that you just paid, for the item that you're now receiving. And look at how we're behaving. Now, why is that?
Because of time. The Bible calls for it. All these things going to happen there.
Well, I hear you.
You mightn't agree with me, you might like what I'm saying, but that's my feeling. But all these things that are happening, all these are case, all kind of things and more coming.
All right. Signs of the times, huh?
Call for these things.
Yeah, well, I like you, perhaps familiar with the scriptures talking about how we also... Well, go ahead. Let me listen to you. Maybe I'm talking too much.
No, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Well, thank you. But there are others who want to chime in as well. And I love a good conversation, right? But share with me.
What do you want me to share with you?
You share what you want, man. If not, we'll.
Well, I just told you. Just stop the panicking in the Cayman Islands. Things will be all right.
So everybody, there you go.
Just take it easy. Wait and see.
Yeah, man. Well, you might be right. Prophecy is being fulfilled, perhaps. So you are right. All right, sir.
Coming through, whether you, the preacher, the sinner, the thief, the killer, whoever like it,
Mm-hmm.
it's happening.
Yes, sir. Well, that's true, eh?
I'm not being rude to you. I'm just talking facts.
Well, for what it's worth, I don't think you are, and I didn't take it as such, and I'm very grateful that you are so direct, straightforward with what you're saying. Please continue to be like that. Hey, thanks very much, sir.
And you continue doing your good work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have a good, safe afternoon.
And leave that person.
You try to go by yourself now. Be yourself. I was hoping you would. All right. Take care, sir. You know what? Life is good. We all must be able to laugh and enjoy it. Give thanks. Shall we join the caller? Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Ebanks.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today?
I don't know.
Okay.
Look here.
Yes, ma'am.
It's always left up to you. Listen, you look at you up there in that house that Loxley built on country music. You know, country song that say life made her that way?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. I want you to reflect back on that fact
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about who now waiting in line and who gets aggressive. Because, look here, when I go out, I got my teeth sharpened. I biting anything. And I carrying black pepper and salt, and I shaking it on while I biting.
Okay.
Because they're not going to run on top of me. They're not going to make me wait in line and poke. Look here. Life made her that way. Okay?
I hear you. No, but if you would.
And now I hear you can't get TP. I hear you can't get paper towels. I got a sick woman laying down in front of me.
You're right.
Wait till I go out there. Look, tell Mr. Foster, must I get something? Got poor people now. We can't buy on demand, you know. We got save and pinch to get.
Yeah.
So I in the pinch to get now, and I hear it finishing. So you're not going to step in front of me.
So
I can wait my turn, Pumpkin. I can wait my turn. I am a Caymanian. I'm going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to wait my turn, but I can tell you, you're not going to step in front of Charlene.
But if everybody does that, and I hear you, I hear the justification, I understand the frustration, right? And I do recognize, and I do, well, it may be, like you say, life made us that way sometimes, right? So some people, because of circumstance, because of the environment, upbringing, culture, whatever it is, tend to be, allow me to use the word you use, more aggressive. Not assertive, more aggressive. And so we have that nature about us, right? Then we come and we interact with people that are perhaps a little bit more docile, a little bit more gracious, a little bit more accustomed to, waiting your turn, stay in line. But if you jump in front of me, I probably will bite you, like you said, teeth sharpened, black pepper in hand, right? But if everybody does that, then what is the outcome?
I find when I go out there.
That's what increasing.
Civility, it only exists in our minds and maybe, yes, in our own community. But in this country, civility has lost its space and its place. And I can tell you what, there's a little African in me, okay? And I'll leave the plantation right now. I'm gone.
Okay, thank you very much, Mom. When she was singing that song, was that Ricky Valchentel, Life Made Her That Way? What was she was? She'd been stepped on, walked on so many times. But, they talk about, it says that, don't blame her because life turned her that way. Is there another one that says, with last footprint is mine? Something about down the thing. And when we look at it, is it us that sometimes, again, I don't wish to insult anybody. I don't wish to point fingers. It's not about anybody. I say this all the time. Look at the person in the mirror so that you focus on that person. And there are some of us, we know. We have this acceptance and expectation. Oh, look at them. You know what you expect from them. But if we allow that and we expect that, and over time we accept it, then it's going to become the new norm. And maybe I'm wrong, and you who are more experienced parents can tell me, but if a little child learning something and you don't, instruct the child, you want to use the word chastise, discipline, I use it in a way that maybe some say that's the wrong usage, but it's about giving the child proper guidance. The child will learn this thing. Well, that is, to me, very much the same thing that you do with people that come to your shore, to your house. If the rule in your house is, listen, we don't wear outside shoes inside, all right? And somebody comes to your house and you don't enforce that rule, or you don't inform them of that rule, it could be your worker. And it's not because you have this precious, expensive floor. It could just be like, listen, you outside walking around in the dirt, who knows where you stepped in? A lot of chickens out in the place now. If you don't put down the rules, as it were, what are you expecting? All right, we're going to pause and take a break. When we come back, it's going to be more talk today, and we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, serving the Cayman Islands for over 60 years. Now offering 12% off ladies and gents wearing apparel, $20 and up prepaid, or 10% off pickup within 7 days. All household items standard 10% off prepaid. This offer good at all our stores until further notice. Savannah Countryside, Elgin Avenue, Georgetown, Eastern Avenue, Georgetown, 949-7104. Drive through, rain or shine. A great special. You feel good when you look good.
Imagine if we all practice safe driving. Imagine if we all refused single-use plastic. Imagine if we all turned off lights when not in use. We can all do our part in making Cayman Islands safer, cleaner, and greener. Together, we can achieve. Visit gov.ky/safer, cleaner, greener to learn more.
Cayman Water would like to advise the public of roadwork interruptions on the West Bay Road between the Kamana Bay underpass in front of Burger King down to the Palm Heights Hotel, formerly Cayman Beach Suites, on Friday, March 13th and on Saturday, March 14th between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Island Paving will be repairing the rough road surface. That's roadwork on the West Bay Road between Burger King and Palm Heights Hotel, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. this Friday and Saturday. Drivers are being asked to proceed with caution and to obey all traffic signs. Cayman Water apologizes to the public for any inconvenience caused.
Get ready for Retrospective, Cayman's National Dance Company's annual show at the Harkwell Theatre, March 27 and 29. Retrospective, a versatile journey of the company's signature dances and new creation. Tickets are $25 for adults and $15 for children, and available at Audiophile, Bang & Olufsen, Radiance Dance Studio, or simply call 926-1826. Retrospective by Cayman National Dance Company is sponsored by CUC, Burger King, ARC, Directors, Big Fish, 95.5 FM, Radio Cayman, and Hurley's Media.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037, 949-8037. Of course, you can call us toll-free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. If you want to WhatsApp, 925-3261. During the break, someone quickly shared something and asked, say it how you say it normally. Well, they're asking us, as we share things on social media, whether we're in the supermarkets or other places and we're seeing at the shelves and we're sending it, hey, look, they're out of this. That it may be that we're not recognizing how that's being perceived and how that may, again, instill a sense of panic and fear. Fair enough. The the writer says, hey, is there a way that we can kind of stop and reflect? Now, easier said than done, but granted, the caller prior said, I have an ailing, elderly person, and whether it's your aged parent or whether it's your newborn, I think we're going to go into a very protective mode, and that's understandable. If I can go back and hopefully, as I think I understood what Mr. Woody Foster, the managing director of Foster, shared, yeah, you may see temporary, shortage in some items, but they contacted their suppliers. They're going to get things. We know them, and as he said, like their competitors, huge warehouses. If you don't believe this country has an incredible amount of inventory, you just need to travel to some other places and see that there are things that you can get here in our shelves. Not because you've asked them to bring it in and they're graciously done so, but you can get it here that you can't get other places. And sometimes some of those, maybe I use the word specialty, items aren't, any more expensive than you may find in other, say, supermarkets in Florida or other parts of the States or even other parts of the world, when you look at it relatively speaking. But equally, as he shared, that item that may not be as, a fast, high volume, high demand item may not be available. They're going to be focusing, as you said, the manufacturers will now maybe ramp up production on the higher volume items so that you can get it. Now, of course, some must, for religious and dietary reasons, other concerns, may not necessarily engage in certain things. But let's see if we can work together to make sure that we don't devolve into a society where there's an anarchy and the like. Some of us, we just don't really seem to stop and think beyond today and ourselves, and that is unfortunate. We are perhaps in a very dynamic situation. It's changing. We probably can speculate as to what may be transpiring. We can probably sit, with our closest friends and engage in some philosophical debate about the rule of law and the position of martial law and the notion of the sort of, I guess, infringement on civil liberties. And some would say, well, it's necessary because of the public, safety and the greater good. And, those things can come as discourse allows. But in the interim, can we make sure that everybody has fair and reasonable access? If we are a society that, like many, take for instance, we have traveled, we know some societies, not because there's a great fine if you did it, or because of, some other fear of imprisonment. This society just, doesn't do certain things. The people frown heavily upon it, and as a society, if you did this thing, for instance, you're smoking in an area where there's no smoking, or you took your chewing gum wrapper, or you discarded chewing gum, or whatever that thing is, and you didn't put it where it was supposed to go, those around you, and it may not be that. It may be the fact that you're in a public space, a public bus, and you're listening to your music on your device a little bit too loudly compared to what is the accepted social norm. You'll be told about it. You'll realize that you're doing, something that isn't social accepted. Well, where are we in those sort of norms? Let's go to our phones. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Afternoon. How are you today?
I'm all right.
Good to hear from you. Oh, very thankful, sir. Very thankful.
First thing about this issue about Corona. The other day I was going to Foster Countryside, and I see the health authority are doing some blood tests and some tests, and too much people gathering in the entrance of Foster. I think the timing of this to be done in a supermarket is a disaster. Because if one person, like, come out of cruise ship and decide to go buy something from supermarket, and all of these people gathering in one place, and those people catch what this person has, it will be a disaster. The measures being taken in those countries affected, like, they stop some schools, stop gathering meetings, like big meetings, like if there is a football match, they don't allow that to happen because a lot of people gathering in one place. And now we are doing the mistakes people trying to avoid. How the health authority, now they are doing blood tests and all of those, pressure tests and all of those stuff, and gathering people in tight place, in one place. And a lot of 50, 80 people which I see was there in that day. I think, that show that we are not prepared for anything like this in this country. We don't have people who have knowledge in anything to be Minister of Health, to take the real measures, the true. So I asking people, if you see such thing, don't go to those gatherings, because those gatherings could make you sick and make you catch that disease. How people gather in one place? This country needs a council of doctors who know what is this disease, and they decide what is the real and safety measures should be taken. The second thing, Dwayne, I want to speak about is, this issue Austin keep talking about stopping individuals to import cars. Austin stay silent for years, doing nothing. Him, David White, this Bernard Connolly, all those MLAs sitting doing nothing, achieving nothing, without no achievements for 4 years. Now Austin and David White coming to tell this country rubbish about allowing the business people to control importing cars, and poor individual can't import a car for himself because those greedy car dealers want to control the market for themselves. And he put next to him in the audience, without no shame, a car dealer as a member of this committee.
It is, as caller sharing, perhaps maybe more for the public to become engaged and involved. Sir, in the interest of time, thank you for that comment. Maybe we can engage you further some more. But let's take one final call. Good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Okay, if you're able to join us.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, if you're near your radio, just give us 1 second and let's just ask you to turn it off or step sufficient far enough away. Unfortunately, while you hear the feedback. Let's try it again. Yes, ma'am.
Big up to the Minister of Health, John doing John Seymour. Big up to the Miss Barbara Condon. Big up to Mr. David. Why did they do your thing? Big up to all of them. They are my representatives. Anybody who don't like them, I like to say something smokes out the air every day. Bye.
All right. This is the beautiful part of what I think we provide, in the opportunity for all to be able to comment freely, and hopefully objectively and fairly. But at the very least, if in a democracy we're cognizant that people should have at least the right to be heard. Hopefully we will be responsible in our sentiments. But to the call of prayer, if the populace is seemingly not doing anything about its politicians other than at a general election deciding that they're going to put the X here, or as Brent McLean's song in 2000 talked about, no X for you today, well, they put it somewhere else. But like the caller just prior to that last said, listen, maybe we need to look at it differently. again, I come back with the greatest of respect. It is for the voter to get engaged, to be informed, to be involved. And sometimes, if the word is too strong, then forgive me, but to demand, hey, what are you doing? But equally, don't expect the politician to do everything or to know everything, because then if all of the good ideas and all of the action rests in 19 or 9 or whatever the number is, then what's the point of the rest of us? Maybe we don't need so many. And it isn't a case that we all jump into it now and go to the one side of the boat and keel over. But if we're all in the boat properly balanced and grab an oar and we row in the same direction, we can get somewhere. A ship without a good captain, without a cooperating crew, well, we mightn't get anywhere. Not even up on top of the pan shows. But at the end of the day, we got to be involved. We got to be civil. We got to be responsible. We got to be responsive. And when something isn't happening, perhaps there's a suggestion. We got to be willing to share it. And if it's a good idea, use it, irrespective of who gets credit for it. Now, if that sounds a little bit naive or a little bit too, what's that word, Miss Susan? It eludes me right now, where you think something is good and it's not really good, so you take it on board, but it'll come to me in a second. The problem is, when you think about what we're doing, you find a way to do it better and see if together we can make it healthier. So if you're living next door to somebody, not sure quite yet whether do they have food, go check them out. If you know that you went and you bought all of the, sanitizer and disinfectant and whatever else that you need, and but your neighbor, your co-worker might be a little short, even if they reimburse you because you can afford to pay for it, well, share with them. Now, again, if I can once again publicly thank Mr. Woody Foster for trying to allay affairs together with the government's initiatives and actions to say, listen, we're facing an unprecedented challenge. Yes, things are difficult. Yes, things are uncertain. What some would say, fluid, dynamic. But at the end of the day, if we work together, this too shall pass. We can overcome this. But if we become, vindictive, and if we start to point fingers, and if we become aggressive, and if we become, like some that we've seen when we watch on TV and say, whoa, look at what they become, animals out there. Well, that could be us. And then nobody benefits. Everybody is unsafe. And at the end of the day, when anarchy rules, then we're all jeopardized. Now, I might say to you, you may like and want and desire, because that's always been your preference for a particular type of food. But if it's not available, and if there's another one that you don't have an allergy to, that it isn't going to compromise your safety, perhaps that other one can be substituted in the interim. Perhaps sometimes you just need to make adjustments. And at the end of the day, it's about working together. It's about recognizing that sometimes we need to roll with the punches and, implement change or try to adjust to the change, whether you like it or not, whether it's, what you wanted. And then when you have, well, share. Now, toilet paper, as we understand, is in short supply. I needed to go shop. I haven't gotten any. So let me see if I can find some, because I'm going to make my weekly shopping trip. Well, it's been very, very busy in the retail places that sell the food stuff. What that's called, supermarkets, hypermarkets. Your thoughts, Ms. Susan? Would you want to share anything to our listeners? Could I invite you to do this for us then? Our listeners, Ms. Susan, like her colleagues on Air Talent, DJ Lynn and Joel and Paul, they play some great music. So as you go about, just stay tuned to Radio Cayman. If there's an important announcement that is official and that is accurate, you will hear it here on Radio Cayman. If you look at other media outlets, online, social or otherwise, if we don't corroborate it, if we don't have it, chances are it's probably not legit. Now, President Ronald Reagan in the U.S. said to President Gorbachev of the Soviet Union at the time, trust but verify. I can't do the Russian accent as good as some of my friends, but he said, Dobanaya, no provanaya. You trust, but, and when you are sharing information with the greatest of respect, check it out. Be reasonably sure that what you're sharing is accurate. Be responsible. What is it my friend from Jam tells me? Not everything good for eat, good for talk. Right? So you don't need to share everything, you know. But anyway, I guess it's just me. All right, let's see what we can do to make it better. Let's see if we can be a little more sensible in what you're doing. And if you're in West Bay, where's a little fish tea, where's a little fried plant and a piece of breadfruit? Hey, listen, you got some? You're not starving? Share with somebody else. For those who don't speak West Bayese, be respectful, be mindful, be careful, be considerate, be cautious. And as you go about, understand that perhaps you don't embrace because you don't want to spread the germ. If you can, be mindful that someone else may, out of an abundance of caution, not want to embrace you. Don't be offended by it. In fact, stay at 3 feet minimum. All right, under the sort of chart of Miss Susan, we'll call it the day for today. We have a very important program lined up for us tomorrow. We're not saying this to alarm you. We're not saying this to invite you to join us just because we try to market. But we want you to join us tomorrow for a talk today, as we have an excellent program that you're going to find very informative and very, very useful. So God's willing, we'll be able to join you tomorrow for talk today right after the midday news, the midday meditation. But please join Mr. Art in the morning for the record. Until then, be blessed.
Voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.